Welcome back, dear friends. Thank you so much for all your messages of condolence and things. Really thoughtful of you and greatly appreciated. Thank you. That was some time ago, and I have already recorded the video of this next bit of the Dinosaur time machine. It's all getting very complicated. There's just so much to sort out at the moment. So today, well, 2 weeks ago or something, we're going to get on with wiring up the sound effects unit. Let's have a look. Here it was so far. I'm going to add a heatsink to this at some point in the future and record all the sound effects and everything else. So that's nice, and just for those of you who haven't seen the videos or whatever in the past, that's what it looks like. So the sensor switches are triggered by all the different controls that the kids are going to use to set the era from which they want to learn about the dinosaurs of that time. So that's nice. Let's get on with that. Oh, but first I hear you cry, what's all this exciting stuff all around the workshop? Shiny things, nice. Twisty shiny things, in fact. Ooh. Well, it's that time of the year, nay, month possibly, when I've run out of them net thrubball kits again. So I'm making another 20, which is absolutely lovely. It's perfect for my current mindset because I don't have to be overly creative or anything. I've got my instructions and I'm just following them and putting together the different parts of the kit. Currently, I'm working on the electronicals bits with the air pump and the clock movement and switches and things. So I've just had a glorious time trimming down, making the ends square on these switches, rotary switches, soldering the wires and everything else, putting the wire. Oh, it's so nice just sitting here watching telly and, well, listening to telly and getting all this done. Oh, and look, don't forget to scribe. Alternatively, don't forget to subscribe. This is what happens when you've had a little bit too much to drink and you decide, oh, I can make a mug to remind viewers, and you forget that you can't see all the way around a circle at the same time. Anyhow, let's get on with stuff. The sound in the background is the laser cutter that shouldn't be cutting anything, but it seems like every supplier of components and things that I use to make obtain the sort of, I think it's about 150 different parts that go up to make up a net thrubball. They keep finding cheaper sources of stuff and changing the specifications ever so slightly. So you think it looks fine until you try it and it isn't. These offset 15-15 28mm fittings were the last victim of this, having made well over 200 of these kits, always using these from different suppliers, them all being the same size. Suddenly they're all getting them from some supplier that's made this ever so slightly smaller, obviously to save metal. So having dutifully cut out all of the plywood enclosure parts of the kit, I found that they were all too loose, so I had to cut them all out again. And then this time, to friends, 200 or 300 of these little battery clips I've bought, perfect to fit in the little cutout in the base. And then this time they supplied me, same company, same order number, same everything else. They supplied with a new version which looks like it's made of two halves rather than one solid moulding. And these are 0.2mm wider. The old ones were 12mm, these are 12.2. So they just don't fit. So I'm having to cut out a load of these to replace the originals. I'm so pleased because I was about to package all that part up as well. Right, enough talking. I'll just go and change my shirt and then we'll get on with it. It's worked out very well. 66 million years, late Cretaceous. And it won't play another one, so it's nice because until it's finished last, so the kids could sort of move it along. 100 million years, and it won't pick up anyone until it's finished playing. 155 million years, late Jurassic. And then on the front we have this one. Engage. Engage. And it's nice that it only lasts for as long as it needs to, and then Ben said he wanted the final two, the two kids operating them, both to have to turn them. Thrum, 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 time travel happening. Maximum 30 seconds of time travel. Strum. Well, that could get a little annoying. I'm not sure what to do about it, but now at least I've got something to discuss with Ben. I've worked out how the unit actually does, how it functions. I finally managed to get it all together. I put it all together, and then when you turn this, it squeaked. Absolutely dreadful. So it wasn't quite, it was slightly offset. Took it all to pieces again and rubbed some pencil, graphite, around the axle. Put it back together, and now it doesn't squeak. And it's so quiet you can even hear all the little reed switches clicking as you turn it. And there, on the back, is the magnet. It was lovely, a beautiful way to do it. I'm really pleased because that bit, the pointer, I just tightened on anywhere, assembled it all, and then, you know, with that pointer pointing, let's say that, I could then align the back and tighten the two grub screws. Now, I've also added a handy little button, a record button, in case Ben wants to change the recordings. My salubrious tones, although it's very kind of him to say that he would like me to record them. We have the script. I have recorded them. I've used Audibility, I think that's the name of the file, the software, that free application, which is absolutely amazing. And now I've got my laptop, so I've recorded it, I've put it on a computer, I've edited them down, increased the volume, put them on a pen drive, put them back on another computer, and I've got to find a way of getting the headphone output of this to the phono input there. It's just, I could use the microphone, but you're going to lose so much quality, so I'm going to try and sort that out. Right, let's make an audio lead up. It's just so inevitable, isn't it? I've got drawers of this stuff, and however carefully and neatly you fold it away, tidy it all up, roll it up, when you come to look for anything, it just, it's amazing. So I will start ferreting through this lot and hope I can find a stereo 3.5mm jack plug and a phono plug. Put it all away again? Nah, mate. We found the bits we need. What a thing of beauty it is. So I'll get that connected up and give it a go. I haven't got enough fingers because I've got to hold down that, press play, and at the same time ground whichever one of these channels it is to start the recording. I was just starting to work out a different switch and how I could use pieces of plastic and screwed on and levers and things like that. No, stop it. A weight balanced on it, perfect. And I've done one recording and it has worked very nicely. I will play it for you. Temporal distortion engine engaged. That's nice. That's much better quality than using the microphone. Right, I'll go ahead and get all these others recorded. I've got all the recordings done and I was just listening to them. 155 million years ago, late Jurassic. And I had trimmed them. I trimmed all the clips on Audacity, I remembered the name. And I trimmed them so tightly, I cut off the final plosive, or what you call it. So I've just gone back, made a note of all the ones that needed correcting and extended them all, so I'm just going to re-upload those ones. All re-uploaded, double-checked and ticked, so let's try that one again. 155 million years ago, late Jurassic. That's better. It's got the final letter on. I'm running this on 8 volts, and that 5 volt regulator is still getting really warm. Not happy with that at all. I checked the circuit out and actually discovered that the amplifier runs off 12 volts. That goes straight through, and then you have the 5 volts, I assume, for all the logic. I really do hate problems like this because there's so many possible ways around it. I've noticed, of course, there's a hole in this aluminium bracket, so I could move it onto there. I could, in fact, take it out and put it on the back of this heatsink because it doesn't get warm at all. I could just run it at 7 volts. I just could, It's the next day, and several enjoyable hours later, having made a beautiful aluminium heatsink. Look at that. And I've screwed it on with a little insulating heat conducting washer, spacer thing. So that's nice. Now I'll plug it in and see how hot this gets, because this is all ready to go off to bed now. I just need to sort out that wretched voltage regulator. Let's give it a go. Ah, I just found a new problem.
197 million years ago, early Jurassic.
So that's fine, because the kids can do that with the switches. But once that is low to the input, it'll ignore all the other inputs. So that won't do anything. And these won't do anything. Nothing. So that's a nice little conundrum, isn't it? It's the project that just keeps on giving. I've tried wiring a capacitor across in series, which means that theoretically it acts like a little bit of a pulse generator. This one is what I use with the 555 timer. When you switch the power on, you get a little pulse that's enough to actually trigger the thing, but it won't with this sound effects board, which is a shame. Never mind, I have a plan, which means taking everything to pieces again. Lovely. By Jove, I think we might have solved it. I'm going to add another little micro switch to this engage off thing here. So when this is in the off position, this micro switch connects ground through its normally closed thing round to this micro switch, which is open. When you start moving this to engage, that micro switch closes, so that sends a pulse, a signal to say, okay, play the message for when you change this switch. But once it's got over to this side, it then disconnects ground from that, so that's fine, forget about that, and connects ground to all the reed switches, so they will then operate. Oh, lovely. To think I could have done this with an Arduino or something, teensy. Live and learn. Well, that's fine and dandy. And I've added an extra felt washer in the middle just to make sure that it stays put basically. So we've got those. I've got some nice new pieces of wire on the back to wire up. Let's get that done. Right, before I put it all back together yet again, let's just switch it on.
Temporal distortion engine engaged.
Well, that's okay, because normally this temporal distortion engine lever would be here. As you move it across...
Temporal distortion engine engaged.
That's good, because now this should hopefully have supplied ground to the rest of it, but I've run out of fingers again. Then...
100 million years ago, mid-Cretaceous.
Excellent. I'll tell you what the problem was. It's unbelievable. These switches were make before break. So basically, as you were twisting it round, this lot would still be connected when it finally switched over to this. So it never left it. This would never be the only grounded input, because that would still be grounded. That's nuts. I'm so pleased I realised it, because it didn't make any sense. So what I've done is just to remove that connection and that connection, which means there's a gap. So it disconnects this, so that's not connected to ground at all. Then there's a gap, then it... Oh, I'll tell you what. But I think it's time now for a walk. She's not very good at language, but she's very good at squirrels and emotions. Bless her. It's definitely time for a walk, isn't it? In the rain, possibly. Oh, bless her little cotton socks. So there we have it. Now, Ben asked me for a little bit of advice on how to install it. Now, it's going to fit on the front of the 1950s radio cabinet where the original radio was, and it's been dimensioned to fit in there. So I'm hoping, I mean, Ben might need to cut a little bit more wood away, but I'm hoping that now with the sound effects bit that sticks back, having so carefully tried to keep everything within this bit, never mind, that he can add to the cutout. So he seems very, very capable handedly thing, whatever the word is, having seen the stuff that he takes to schools and the 3D printed fossils he's made, absolutely amazing. And will they pin the bone on the dinosaur? It's fantastic. Very, very impressed. So he shouldn't have any problem with that. So just to cut out a hole the inside of this, or just so that will stick through and can fit, and then screw in from the back, ensuring that the wood screws go into, you know, 4 or 5 around into that. That's nice. Now connecting. Well, connecting, there's 2 connections to consider. There is this one, the red and black one, which is the plus and minus one, or plus 12 volts, 0 volts, as we say in the trade. All it is, in fact, funny enough, we were discussing it the other day, the emails, and realised that rather than having a plug-in power supply, which is the sort that I usually use, it'd be far better to have a battery pack, a rechargeable battery pack, especially with the lithium-ion ones being able to hold so much charge. So the battery pack that Ben was looking at found had a little adapter that would plug in with screw terminals on the back, so this would be ideal to connect to here. So I can provide him with a thicker black and a thicker red wire, just a bit more substantial, that he can connect to that. And the other 2 connections are the speaker connections. So 2 things to consider with speakers. Let me find one and show you. Here's a speaker. This one comes as part of a pair that's clipped on the side of that, and you had a handle on the top. Huge, but it was like, you know, you could carry it around with it on if you wanted to use lots and lots and lots and lots of batteries up. I painted it speckled blue at some stage for some reason, but on the back, well, should be the salient information. Here we are. This is the important stuff. Let me zoom in and try and avoid reflections. 2 things: impedance, which is sort of the resistance. It's how easy it is for electricity to flow through the speaker. It's not called resistance though, because the resistance depends on frequency, so it's called impedance. 6 ohms. Now the lovely power amplifier on the sound effects board can run a speaker down to 4 ohms impedance. So 4 ohms and above is absolutely fine. And the other thing is the power handling, and that's 20 watts. Basically, go with the lower number, because I always try and exaggerate it. Go with the lower number. That's power in watts. 5 watts. So 5 watt or above speaker. So any sort of speaker that's 5 watts, 10 watts, 20 watts, 50 watts, 100 watts, anything will do. So the impedance needs to be higher, and so does the power actually. That's interesting. And then you just connect them up, and I will provide you with 2 thicker wires. Not you, Ben. How dare you? I'll provide Ben with 2 thicker wires, it doesn't matter which way round they go, to connect to a suitable speaker cabinet. Doesn't matter which ones you put in which holes. It's probably going to be easier if Ben can find some old speaker cabinet or something, because it means that the speaker's mounted properly and the back of the speaker is enclosed. Because if you just have a speaker sitting in mid-air with the back and the front open, because the front's moving in one direction, in effect the back is moving the air in the other direction, it cancels itself out. It's amazing how massive effect that has. So you do need to have a speaker in some sort of enclosure. Hopefully that explains the issues. As always, Ben, you can get in touch if you have any queries. Lovely. Thanks very much for watching. As always, greatly appreciated. Hope to see you next time. Not sure what next time is going to be about. Maybe getting on with the steampunk arcade machine, because obviously I did the scoring bit but not the actual gameplay. That might be quite nice. I see how I feel once the funeral's out of the way and all that sort of stuff. Well, we'll definitely be getting on with something. Thanks again.